Well, is this familiar? This phone, yes, this very phone is my mother's most prized possession. Well, apart from me, is lovingly nicknamed Lal Dabba, is over a decade old, charges perfectly, has had no battery replacements, and till this day wakes my entire household up with its boisterous alarm and just refuses to break down. Now, on the other hand, this phone, only 3 years old, has a cracked screen, an ever-waning battery, whose replacement is probably gonna cost me more than the phone itself, plus an impending loom of it occurring again. So why is it? Why is it that today's products lack that durability, which was the hallmark of the older ones? Though, ironically, we have advanced in technology by leaps and by bounds. Well, this happens due to a hidden, yet omnipresent principle of manufacturing called planned obsolescence. Sounds complicated. Well, planned obsolescence, when defined as per the definition, is up there on the screen. However, I know most of you will find that too technical. So let me simplify it for you all. Planned obsolescence is the principle of producing products that are planned to fail and are not built to last. Now, you must be asking, how do we get such failing products? What are the techniques behind this? Well, let's go back to our old buddy, the phone. The cover of the phone can be made out of substandard plastic, or the screen can be made fragile, or a software update may be bought, making the device incompatible. Now let's turn towards the world of ever-changing fashion. Well, cloth can be made flimsy, loose, making it prone to snag and snare, or threads can be left loose. All such practices contrive the durability of the product and render them obsolete. So, what are the consequences of such products on us as consumers? Well, there are many. Firstly, apart from bilking the consumer and striking a huge blow onto their wallets, the most detrimental, the most extreme impact of planned obsolescence is on that of our environment. Well, as per the UNEP, a large amount of waste is created. Now, this waste is valued at about $62 billion, and the amount of waste contributed is over 50 million tons. Think about that for a minute. That's over 1,000 Titanics worth of waste annually. Now, these landfills filled with radioactive metal-laden waste have not only shown a spike in cancer and metal poisoning rates in human beings, but have also shown a depletion in our flora and fauna. So, what is the solution to this? Here is the big question. What is the solution to this? How can we actually stop it? Can we really, or at least try to reduce it? Well, as of now, there do exist legal provisions and institutions, such as the right to repair, plus the idea of circular economy ensures that waste is eliminated by sending used produce back to the producer. However, personally, I believe these practices are not practically feasible, and most of them have major issues in terms of consumer convenience. I would also say that these practices are limited to a certain part of the globe. So what is the universal answer to this? How can we actually universally and holistically try to stop this vicious principle? Well, I thought and thought and thought, and I came up with my very own solution to the problem at hand. So I introduce to you UDS. What is UDS? Well, UDS stands for Universal Durability Score. Sounds complicated, right? Well, anybody who's heard it for the first time will think the same. But it's very simple, to be honest. UDS is a score that rates a product on its durability aspect, plus its holistic aspect of its production, procurement, and even its degradation. Now, what products can have a UDS? Any product. It can be a car, a fridge, a microwave, or even a sock. And the scale need not be complicated. It's simply a 1 to 10 scale, with 1 being the most ephemeral and most obsolete product, and 10 being the most durable product. So, what are the principles that comprise the UDS? What are the parameters in it? Well, the most important principle is the lifespan of the product. So, all these papers of data analysis, statistical numbers, graphs can be put to actual good use by deducing the lifespan of a product. And just like a good provident fund, greater the years of service, higher will be the UDS. So let's take a real life example. Consider these 2 light bulbs with the following UDS. Which one will you all mostly go for? So I believe most of us will go for the one with UDS 6.1. Now what does this tell us about the product? This tells us that it is more durable, that is, it runs for more hours. As I had previously mentioned, UDS is a holistic score. So what more could be the parameters in it? What more could this score, this magic number include? And what more does it tell us about the product? Firstly, the UDS is directly related to the sustainable procurement of the product. Whether the waste material has been, whether the raw material has been recycled, whether the raw material has been sourced from recycled waste or not. So let's take into consideration these 2 fridges with the following UDSs, with the following scores. So which one would you all go for again? Yes, this distinguished gentleman.
Go for the one on the left, because since it has a higher UDS.
Yes. So as he correctly said, it has a higher UDS. But what does this tell us about the product? This tells us that most of the material used to build this fridge, that is the metal, the plastic, the screws, the bolts, all have been sourced from recycled waste, and thus the product is more sustainably built. Next, the UDS also takes into consideration the biodegradability of a product. So when disposed, it causes minimal harm to our environment. So let's take yet another example of this shirt with a good UDS of 7.6. This tells us that this shirt is not only more durable, but also degrades faster and has a lower negative impact on our environment. Now, the UDS is high for products whose manufacturers have a good corporate social responsibility. So take a manufacturer who produces, say, cosmetics with a great UDS of 8. What does this tell us about the producer? What does this tell us about the manufacturer? This tells us that the manufacturer is more self-regulating, that is, he's more responsible towards his environment, towards his labor, towards his economy, and for the sourcing of his raw materials. Thus, when we buy products with a good UDS, we are encouraging the manufacturer to be more responsible towards his consumer. We are actually bridging the chasm between the manufacturer and the consumer. And finally, the UDS is directly proportional to the multi-utility of a product. So you may ask, what is multi-utility? Well, multi-utility is on the same principle of that of innovation. Consider this electric light bulb. Now, this bulb can be multi-utilized as a handheld torch. So this does have a great UDS because it is more innovative. So you see, when we buy products with a great UDS, it encourages the manufacturers to be more innovative. It makes our markets more innovative. Thus, I would like to conclude, when we buy products with a good UDS, not only are we creating a better economy with more innovative manufacturers, but we are also buying more durable products, we are contributing more towards our environment, and finally we are lowering the exploitation of our labor. Now, I would like to leave you with a rhetoric. Isn't it ironic that the human race strives to increase its longevity, yet dooms its products to an early demise?